Mining and crafting, the two things that made Minecraft, but only one of them has been fully automated, until now. Or until 2 years ago, when a YouTuber named Dark introduced something insane. The first fully autonomous, programmable mining machine, and it's only this big. Using it, I was able to mine out this entire area and get 10 stacks of diamonds in just 1 hour. I simply went to have lunch, came back, and hundreds of diamonds were sitting on the ground of a massive tunnel. If you play on a server, then you can literally just disconnect and log back on when your timer rings, only to be greeted with tons of diamonds. This machine uses a combination of lazy chunk loading and some wild TNT teleportation mechanics to mine blocks exactly how you tell it to. And unlike regular tunnel borers, it doesn't get blocked by water, lava, or even gravel. You can control how far the tunnel starts from the machine, how long it mines, how many rows it clears, and how close those rows are to each other. Later in this video, I'll show you a custom Google Sheets tool where you can just plug in how long you want to AFK, and it will calculate the perfect tunnel length so your machine finishes exactly on time, like right when you wake up after 8 hours of sleep. Behind the scenes, it works by splitting the machine across 4 chunks, 3 lazy and 1 fully loaded. I use an ender pearl stasis chamber in the loaded chunk to keep it active, while the others remain only processed with blocks. Then to activate the machine, you simply flick this lever off, leave the area, either by logging off if you're on a server, or entering another dimension. Now let me show you how to actually program the machine. This hopper controls how far apart each row is. I usually go with 4 items because that's the widest spacing you can use without leaving gaps between tunnels. If you want to see ores in the walls, you can use 6 instead. That adds a 2-block buffer between each row, which slightly improves efficiency, but it also makes it harder to collect the drops and increases the chance of items despawning. If you're using this to clear out an area for a base, putting 2 items in is the best option. That makes it mine every single block, so you end up with a clean flat floor. You'll just have to patch any lava holes afterwards. Next is this barrel, which sets how many rows the machine will mine. The general formula is to take your row spacing and multiply it by 1 more than the number of rows you want. For example, if your spacing is 4 and you want 2 rows, you'd put in 12 items. That said, this isn't always exact, so it's much better to use the spreadsheet I made, which uses a formula to calculate the exact value, which works better for spacings other than 4, like 2 or 6 items. Then there's the dropper on the left, which sets how far away the tunnel will start from the machine. To very roughly mentally calculate this, take the distance you want and divide it by 2. This means if you want this tunnel to start 50 blocks away, you put in 25 items. For getting a far more accurate distance, use the spreadsheet I talked about earlier, as it uses a formula to calculate it much more precisely. After you've picked your spacing, row count, and offset, open the link in the description of this video to make an editable copy of the spreadsheet. Then enter all 3 values and type in how long you plan to wait. It can be anything from a few minutes to hours, and you can always wait longer than you put. The spreadsheet will tell you the exact tunnel length your machine should mine, and it'll also let you know if anything you entered might cause problems, like the tunnel length being too short. It's super useful and lets you AFK without worrying about something going wrong. If you like this kind of content and would like to see more, make sure to subscribe. I post my best inventions to this channel, and you don't want to miss them. Anyway, back to this video. This machine is very complicated, so I'll provide a schematic that you can follow in the description when building. But for those of you who don't use Likemantica, here's a block-by-block tutorial. Before building, gather these materials. You won't need to grab blocks for programming the machine, as you will most likely have to mine more than enough blocks to clear an area. 2 stacks and 13 blocks of your choice, 30 observers, 11 redstone torches, 8 comparators, 8 redstone repeaters, 8 redstone dust, 8 sticky pistons, 8 note blocks, 7 droppers, 7 scaffolding, 6 hoppers, 5 trapdoors, 4 stairs, 4 walls, 4 slabs, 3 pistons, 3 enchanting tables, 2 TNT, 2 target blocks, 2 levers, 1 chest, 1 iron pressure plate, 1 barrel, and 1 grindstone. You also need 2 water buckets and 2 powdered snow buckets, and if you want to label things, then you'll want 6 signs. To begin, place a sticky piston facing up in the corner between 2 chunks, so if you stand on top of it, you're at Y-48 for diamond mining, or any other height if you just want to clear an area. Just know that standing at the bottom of the tunnel, you will be 2 blocks lower than you are now. Once you've found your height, face the corner and turn 135 degrees left. This is where the back of your tunnel will start, and it will mine out to the right. The offset is how far away the tunnel will begin from where you are looking now. If you don't want to use the tunnel to mine here, then pick a different corner. This machine is not rotation dependent, so build this at any angle you like. Once you've picked a corner at the correct height and look to the left, place a note block in front of you. facing the same direction that you're going to start the tunnel. Then we'll place a block here, and then a 2-tick repeater facing this way. In front of this repeater, we'll place a block, and then a redstone torch on the edge of that. Then, in front of this repeater, we're going to place a block like this. And then we'll place another block here. Place a dropper facing up. Destroy this temporary block. And then we'll place an observer observing this dropper. Next, we'll place a block on top of this redstone torch. And then place another torch on the edge of that. It'll turn off. On top of this first sticky piston, place a stair like that. And then we'll place an enchanting table on the edge of it like that. Another enchanting table. We'll place a stair there. And then we'll place a block on the edge of it. Now that this thing is fully covered, we'll waterlog it. And then we'll place a temporary block here. And then we'll place a wall. Destroy this temporary block. And then we'll place a trap door on this wall, like this. Place a block after this trap door. Another block there. And then we'll place a sticky piston facing up. An observer observing that sticky piston. And an observer observing that observer. That was quite the mouthful. Next, we'll place 2 note blocks here. And then 2 blocks in front of that. Then we'll place a lever and flick it on right there. And then we'll place a sticky piston here, a temporary block here, a trapdoor facing this way, and then we'll destroy the temporary block. And then we'll place a temporary block here, a wall going to the side, and then we'll observe this and put it into a normal piston. Then we'll place an observer against this wall. We'll observe it going this way, and then we'll place a sticky piston here. Next, we'll place 2 blocks and 2 slabs like this. And then we'll grab our repeater, put it on 2 ticks, and then place a lever here and flick it on. We'll also place an observer facing up right there. Next, right here, we'll place 2 blocks on top of these note blocks and 2 2-tick repeaters. Another block here with another 2-tick repeater on it. Then we'll place a block here, a sticky piston, and then a stair facing down like this. Next, we'll place an observer on top of these and a block here. And then we'll place an observer facing down right there. We'll also take our scaffolding and place it like this in front of us. Next, we'll place a block here, an observer facing down. Then 2 blocks here. Then a grindstone on this block and the pressure plate right there. We can also place our signs on these blocks saying these things. And then we'll place a block here with 2 sticky pistons, and then a temporary block and a normal block, 2 trapdoors going off of this, and then a note block, and we can destroy this temporary block. Then on this side, we'll place a temporary block here, a note block on top of that, drop down, and then we'll place an observer facing down. This will trigger. And then we can place in that wall. And then we can also place an observer on this, like that. And then we can place a stair, like that. You can place another sign, like that. Next, we'll place then a torch on that. Then we'll place a comparator facing into it. And then a dropper here. Another comparator here. And then a dropper right here. We want to place 1 item in here for now. And then we'll place a block here, then a torch here, and then a redstone dust there. We'll also want to place a target block here and a redstone dust on top that has been right-clicked so that it's facing inwards. Next, we'll place a block here and 2 blocks on top of this. We'll place an observer facing up, and then an observer facing down. Place a temporary block here, and then we'll place an observer facing out like that. And then we'll place a note block, an observer, a block, and then 2 scaffolding, a redstone torch, and we're done with this layer. We'll place an observer here with a block, another block, and 2 redstone torches. Whoops, not that one. Then we'll place 2 blocks like this, 2 more blocks here, and then 2 comparators. Place a temporary block here, and then the first hopper there, like this. And then we'll place another hopper right there. Next, we'll place our last wall here, outer snow there. We'll place a trapdoor here, and then we'll observe this, like that. And we'll place a slab here, and then we'll place 2 hoppers going into this, with an observer observing this wall here. Next, we'll place a dropper here. That will cause a kind of crazy circuit going off. And then we can place another observer here, with a 2-tick repeater here, And then we'll place a block in front of it, like this. On the next layer, we'll place blocks here, 2 redstone torches. This should quiet the machine. A dropper here, and then a dropper on the side of this, like that. Place 2 comparators here, and we'll want to put 1 item in here. And then another item in there that's going to be locked. Your redstone torches and comparators should look like this. Next, we'll place 3 blocks like this, a barrel here, and then another block. You can also place a sign on this barrel, like this. This text is not correct, but I have some bug with my mod that doesn't let me edit signs. We'll place more powdered snow here, and then we'll place a comparator on this block, the block in front of it. Now we'll place a sticky piston here, the block in front of it, and we'll place a 2-tick repeater here, and then a block right there. Then we'll place a note block right here, and then we're done with this layer. We're almost done with this machine. All we have to do is place an observer there, an observer there, observer there, an observer there, lots of observers here, an observer there, then a temporary block here, and then an observer facing down. You can also place a sign on this observer. Next, we'll place another 2-tick repeater here, piece of redstone dust there, going up onto this block. Then we'll have an enchanting table in front of this, a block here, and then a redstone torch to the side here. Next, we'll place a comparator facing this way, piece of redstone dust here, and a target block on the side of this block like that. Then we'll place a temporary block here, a hopper right there. We'll break the temporary block, and then place a hopper going into this hopper. Next, we'll place a chest here. You'll never put any items in this chest, it's just because of the hitbox. Then we'll place a block here, a normal piston like that. We'll break this temporary block, climb back up, and then we'll place 3 blocks here, block here, a note block here, a block here, and then a slab here. Next, we'll place a piston here with a block, and another block there, 2 pieces of TNT here, an observer, and 3 pieces of redstone dust like this. Next, we'll place 2 pieces of scaffolding, like this, and then 2 observers observing the scaffolding. Now, we're done with the build, but in this tutorial, I missed some things. So first things first, we'll place 1 item in this barrel, climb back up, and then we missed a redstone torch right there. Next, we'll want to take the item out of here, and then put 2 items in this one. Then, here, then we're going to want to put 1 item into here, break this piece of redstone dust, and then place it back. This will turn off. Next, we're going to want to remove this piece of deep slate, because I forgot to remove that earlier. Also, I made the mistake of placing this hopper to the side instead of straight down like it should. There we go. And now we're done. You built the machine. It was that easy. Now, you get unlimited diamonds. And I'll show you how to set this up in a second. Find this thing that has the 2 signs. You might not have the signs, but these 2 repeaters in this 2x2 area. You're going to want to go out 50 blocks this way and make sure it's perfectly clear. That means pillaring up like this, and then mining this way if you have anything in the way. But since I built this in an ancient city that I had previously blown up, I do not have that issue. But I will have to mine out this area. See these 2 blocks here? You'll want to continue that 50 blocks this way. So I'll need to mine these blocks in order to make space for the TNT that's going to be warped. 1 block higher, just like this. And I'll need to mine 50 blocks this way. You could use coordinates, but I usually just eye it. Like, this looks like a pretty good distance. So I'm going to stop mining now. It doesn't have to be exactly 50 blocks. Just an estimate. More is usually better. Now, finally, to set up this machine, what you're going to want to do is find your offset dispenser right here. And we'll put in, like, 22 items or something. That should be good. Then, here, we'll find our row count. And I'll put 4 items in here. Like this. Have 4 spacing. And then I'll just do like 12 rows or something. Like this. And then coming around this way. There's this. And I'll use the calculator I made in order to figure out how long I want to do this. Since I only want to AFK for about 15 minutes, I'll put in 15 minutes into the thing and see how long I get. So I got 197 items, which is going to be 5 stacks in 3. I'll need a bit more items. Just like this. That's what 197 items is. So I put this in here. And it will finish after 15 minutes. But I'll wait 16 minutes just to make sure. So we'll want to take one of the buckets and scoop up the water from this one, and then we'll make an infinite water source. Like this. Now, we'll mine down 5 blocks, place down soul sand, and then place water at the top and water at the bottom. Get 2 more buckets, and then we can place buckets like that until the bubble column is all the way to the top. Then I can just stand here and jump and throw at the same time, and then it'll come back up to the top. And then our stasis chamber is ready. If you build this on the server, you can just turn off this lever right here and then disconnect. Or you can go to the nether if you're playing in a single player world. So I'll just flick this off and disconnect. Okay, logging back in, and our machine finished. So, heading over here, you can see we have this massive tunnel, and there are just so many diamonds that are being mined. You can see all the items that it mines are just sitting on the floor. And you can make the tunnels as big as you want or as long as you want. You can see here's our second tunnel. Sometimes they're not perfectly aligned, but you can grab stuff from the ceiling. And yeah, there's just so many diamonds. I ran this machine for an hour, and like I said in the intro, I got 10 stacks of diamonds. So this is by far the easiest and fastest way to get lots of diamonds. If I fly along here, you can just see how far this tunnel goes. It's quite insane. And this was just in 15 minutes. If I throw out all this deep slate, and I fill my inventory with diamonds, and then if we switch into survival mode, like this, and TP all items to us, you can see in just 15 minutes, whoa, I just deleted a bunch of diamonds. I think I just deleted a bunch of diamonds. I don't know if you guys saw that, but we got about 2 stacks of diamonds in 15 minutes. This machine is absolutely insane. And if you leave this overnight, you just get such a massive tunnel. You could just be going across that for like 20 minutes, just picking up diamonds. Of course, this is without mining all the diamonds in the walls and stuff like that. Which will give you more, especially if you have Fortune 3. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and the tutorial. It works just as amazing for you as it worked for me. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!